He stopped complimenting me, holding me, even noticing me. I started dressing up just to see if he would say something he never did. Then one day, someone else noticed. "You look stunning," he said. That compliment opened a door I never planned to walk through. But I did. And when my husband finally said, "You're acting different," I smiled, because someone finally made me feel beautiful again. The color drained from his face as my phone buzzed with a message that confirmed everything. I've been with my husband, Daniel, for 14 years. We met in our mid-20s in Colorado, hit it off quick, moved to Austin together after a year, and got married soon after. 2 kids later, mortgage, school pickups, the usual. He's a good dad. Pays the bills, shows up to soccer games, helps with homework. But as a husband? He stopped being 1 year ago. It wasn't sudden. It crept in. Quiet. Slow. You don't really notice when someone starts pulling away until one day you're standing in the kitchen in silence, realizing he hasn't looked at you, really looked at you, in a long time. No more, "You look beautiful." No more holding hands in the car. No arm around me on the couch. No smile when I walk in a room. I became background noise. I used to think I was imagining it. So I started testing him. I wore dresses around the house just to see if he'd notice. I wore red lipstick, even though I rarely do. I'd stand in front of the mirror longer, hoping maybe he'd say something when I turned around. He never did. One day, I cut my hair. 6 inches gone. I walked in, waiting for a reaction. He looked up from his laptop and said, "Did you pay the electric bill?" That night I cried in the shower so the kids wouldn't hear me. I wasn't asking for grand gestures. I just wanted him to see me. A compliment. A touch. A glance. Something. But I got nothing. That's when I started going to this little cafe downtown. At first, it was just to get out of the house. I'd take my laptop and pretend to work. I was mostly just scrolling or people watching. And then I met Jonah. He was one of the managers there. Tall, maybe late 30s. Kind eyes. Friendly. He'd always ask how I was doing, remembered my name after the first visit, and would smile when I walked in. I thought nothing of it at first. I'm married. I don't flirt. That's not me. But the 4th or 5th time I was there, I had on this soft blue top I used to love, but hadn't worn in years. I was stirring sugar into my coffee when Jonah came by and said, "Just so you know, you look stunning today." I actually laughed, out of shock. It wasn't sleazy. It wasn't awkward. It was just warm, sincere, easy. I said thank you. He smiled and went back behind the counter like he hadn't just lit something inside me I thought was long gone. That night, I stared at myself in the bathroom mirror. Same hair. Same tired face. But his words echoed in my head, "You look stunning." It was one sentence. One moment. But it cracked something open. The next few times I went to the cafe, we talked more. Nothing crazy. Just about books, music, how chaotic Austin traffic has gotten. I started dressing a little nicer when I went. Not because of him, I told myself. Just because it felt good. But I wasn't being honest. I wanted him to notice me again. And he did. Every single time. We exchanged numbers under the excuse that he'd send me a list of his favorite bakeries in town. I knew what I was doing. So did he. I saved his contact as Jonah, Cafe, like that would somehow keep things clean. At first, it was just occasional texts. Then more frequent. Then late night. Then flirty. One afternoon, Daniel and I were arguing about the gutters needing to be cleaned. We weren't yelling. That would have meant we cared. It was just dry, tired frustration. I left the house and texted Jonah, "Wanna grab coffee?" We didn't go to his cafe. We went to another spot across town. Talked for hours. No mention of marriage. No mention of lines. Just 2 people who were clearly drifting towards something dangerous. After that, things moved fast. One night, I lied and said I was going to a friend's wine night. I drove to Jonah's apartment instead. That was the first time we slept together. I told myself it would be the last. That it was just a one-time mistake. A moment of weakness. But it wasn't. It turned into regular meetups. At his place. In my car. A motel once, just to feel anonymous. He made me feel beautiful again. Desired. Alive. I'd look in the mirror and actually recognize the woman staring back. Not just a tired mom, not just someone's wife. Me. And at home? Daniel didn't notice a thing. He still barely talked to me. He never asked where I was going or why I came home late. He was in his own world. Until one day, I was in the kitchen, chopping onions. He walked in and stared at me longer than usual. Then he said it. "You're acting different." I didn't flinch. I turned slowly, looked him right in the eye, and said, "Because someone finally made me feel beautiful again." His face went pale. He didn't say a word. He looked down at the counter, then at me, then at my phone, which lit up with a message right at that moment. "Thinking about you. Can't wait to see you again." Jay, he read it. We both saw it. He walked out. He didn't yell. He didn't throw anything. He just walked into the garage and sat in his car. Not driving. Just sitting. I stayed in the kitchen and cried until the kids came home from school. That was 3 weeks ago. We haven't talked about it since. We move around each other like ghosts. The house is quiet. Too quiet. I sleep on the couch now. Not because he asked me to. Because I couldn't bear to lay next to someone who I betrayed and who let me disappear long before I ever cheated. I don't know where this goes. I don't know what I want. All I know is that I didn't plan for this. I didn't go looking for it. I just wanted to feel seen. And I was starving for it. And when someone finally gave it to me, I didn't stop myself. I couldn't. Daniel didn't confront me. Not that day. Not the next. It was worse than yelling. He just shut down. He started coming home later. Said it was work. I didn't ask questions because I knew I had no right to. We barely looked at each other. If it weren't for the kids, we probably wouldn't have spoken at all. Every morning felt like walking through fog. Our home didn't feel like a home anymore. Just 4 walls with ghosts inside. Then something happened. One night, I was tucking our youngest into bed. Daniel walked past the doorway and paused. "You seeing him again tonight?" he asked quietly. I didn't answer. He nodded, like that was all he needed. Then he walked off. I didn't go to Jonah's that night. Instead, I sat on the bathroom floor with the door locked and cried until my chest ached. Jonah noticed I was pulling away. "You okay?" he texted. "I'm here. Just say the word." I wanted to answer, but I didn't. Something in me was shifting. The next morning, Daniel was gone before the kids woke up. He didn't come back that night. Then the next. He didn't answer texts or calls. His work said he left early. I checked our shared location on my phone. It was turned off. A part of me panicked. The other part knew exactly what this was. On the 3rd day, he came home around 2 a.m. I was waiting on the couch. "You okay?" I asked. He looked right at me. "Are you?" Silence. Then he dropped the bomb. "I met someone." I blinked. "She's divorced. We've been talking." I didn't plan it. Just happened. My heart didn't break. It just went numb. "How long?" I asked. He shrugged. "Few weeks." So after finding out about Jonah, Daniel went and found someone else. Maybe to cope. Maybe to punish me. Maybe both. I didn't know what to feel. I wanted to scream, but I'd lost that right. I wanted to cry, but the tears weren't there. Instead, I said, "Do the kids know?" "No. And they won't. Not yet." We sat in silence. 2 people who had once promised to love each other forever. Now just waiting for the next move. A week later, I got a text from Jonah. "You've changed." "I'm not judging. Just feels like you're not really here anymore." He was right. I had changed. The affair didn't make me feel powerful. It didn't fill me with confidence. It just opened a door that led to more pain. And now there was wreckage everywhere. I started avoiding Jonah. Ignored his texts. Declined his invites. I didn't tell him goodbye. I just disappeared. He didn't fight it. He let me go. Then came the real twist. Last Friday, Daniel's phone buzzed on the kitchen counter. He was out back with the kids. I didn't mean to look, but the screen lit up with a name I didn't recognize. Alyssa, the message? Still thinking about that kiss. "Call me when she's not around," winking face. My stomach dropped. It wasn't just someone he was talking to. He was in it. The same way I had been. Maybe worse. I felt my face go cold. I put the phone down. Stepped outside. Pretended everything was fine. That night, when the kids were asleep, I asked him directly. He didn't deny it. He looked me dead in the eye and said, "You made your choices. Now I'm making mine." So now here we are. 2 broken people. Living under the same roof. Both cheating. Both angry. Both tired. Walking on eggshells for the sake of our kids, but secretly wondering when it'll all blow up. I don't know what happens next. I'm not sure either of us wants to fix it. Maybe we're just waiting for someone to make the first move. To officially say it out loud. Or maybe we're too scared of what comes after. But here's the truth. What started with me wanting to feel beautiful again has turned into something ugly I never saw coming. And I don't think either of us can come back from it. After I saw the message from Alyssa, I didn't bring it up again. Not right away. We were already in the sick, silent war. His cheating felt like some twisted revenge for mine. But deep down, I think he would have done it eventually anyway. A few days later, I overheard him laughing on the phone. Not a quiet chuckle. A full laugh. I couldn't remember the last time I'd heard that sound come out of him. I stood in the hallway, hidden, listening. He said, "Yeah, I miss you too." Not to me. Never to me. That night, I finally asked, "Are you in love with her?" He looked at me for a long time. I don't know. That answer hurt more than a yes. Because I don't know means maybe. I don't know means he's thought about it. We stopped pretending after that. No more small talk. No more sitting in the same room unless the kids were there. We were strangers under one roof. But that wasn't the twist. That was just the slow collapse. The twist came on a random Thursday. Daniel got a call while I was cooking. I wasn't snooping, but I was right there when his phone rang. It was on speaker by accident. I heard a woman say, "You haven't told her yet, have you?" He fumbled to turn off speaker. Walked out of the room. He thought I didn't hear. But I did. And later that night, when he was in the shower, I did something I hadn't done in years. I checked his emails. I wish I hadn't. There were flights. Hotel confirmations. Restaurant reservations in New Orleans. For a trip scheduled next weekend. He was planning to leave. Not just for a fling. For a weekend away. I clicked through the emails. One had a PDF attachment. I opened it. It was a lease application. For an apartment. In his name. Alone. I felt like I'd been punched in the chest. I walked into the bathroom while he was brushing his teeth. "You're leaving?" I asked. He didn't pretend to be confused. He just sighed and sat on the edge of the tub. "Yeah. Were you going to tell me?" "I was waiting until after the trip." "You were going to leave for the weekend, come back, and then what?" "Just walk out." Something like that. He said it like we were talking about the weather. I should have yelled. Should have screamed. But I didn't. I felt cold. Empty. Like I was watching this happen from outside my own body. And then another twist dropped. A new one. The kind I didn't see coming at all. 3 days later, I started feeling sick. Not just tired mom sick. Like, off. Nauseous in the morning. Headaches. Weird cravings. I took a test. Positive. I stared at the lines on the stick for what felt like an hour. Not possible. Can't be. I'm on the pill. But I remembered. There was that 1 week I skipped because of migraines. Never doubled up. My hands shook. Because now it wasn't just about cheating. Or Jonah. Or Daniel and his secret lease. There was a baby. And I didn't know who the father was. So now I'm here. Writing this. Sitting in my car, parked in front of a CVS, test box still in the passenger seat. I haven't told anyone. Not Jonah. Not Daniel. Not yet. Because what the hell do I say? "Hey, remember that wreck of a marriage we've been dragging through the mud?" Surprise, it just got more complicated. Every choice I made has led to this moment. And now there's another life in the mix. One that didn't ask for any of this. I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't even know what I want to do. And the scariest part? For the first time in my life. I don't trust either of them. Not Daniel. Not Jonah. And maybe not even myself. I kept the pregnancy to myself for 3 days. I'd walk around the house with a fake smile, folding laundry, making lunches, driving the kids to school like my stomach wasn't twisted in knots every minute. Like I didn't wake up at 3 a.m. feeling like the walls were closing in. I didn't tell Jonah. There was no way. He hadn't texted in over a week. I think he knew I was gone, emotionally. He was smart enough not to chase what was already slipping away. But Daniel? He needed to know. Even if I didn't want him to. Even if I didn't want to deal with the aftermath. I had to say it. So I waited until a Saturday. The kids were at a birthday party. Just the two of us at home. He was at the kitchen table with his laptop. I stood there, heart pounding like a drum in my ears. "I'm pregnant." He didn't react. Not at first. He blinked. Then slowly turned his head. "Yours," he said, like he was asking about takeout, not a child. That sentence, those 1.5 words, cut deeper than anything I've ever heard. "I don't know," I said. Quiet. Honest. Ashamed. His face turned red. Not flushed red. And then he lost it. He slammed his laptop shut and stood up so fast his chair fell backward. He didn't yell, not right away. He just paced. Then, like a match, it lit. "You don't know? You don't F***ing know? Jesus, Cassie. You're out here playing house with some barista while our marriage burns, and now you're telling me, what congratulations? It wasn't like that, no? You sure? Because I'm pretty sure I've been sleeping next to a liar for months. Don't act innocent. You're leaving. You were going to sneak off to New Orleans with Alyssa and not even tell me." His mouth opened. Shut. Opened again. "Oh, now we're playing whose betrayal is bigger? This isn't a game, Daniel. No. It's a disaster." We stood there, facing each other, breathing hard, years of resentment pouring out between us like gasoline. Then the front door opened. It was my sister, Kelly. She was dropping off a folding table we'd borrowed for the kids' craft night. She walked in on all of it. Daniel standing red-faced. Me tear-stained and shaking. The fallen chair. The tension so thick you could cut it with a knife. She froze. What the hell is going on? Daniel looked at her, laughed bitterly. "Ask your golden girl here. She doesn't know who the father is." "Dan, stop." I pleaded. But the damage was done. Kelly's jaw dropped. "You're pregnant," she whispered. I nodded. Her eyes filled. Not with joy. Not with confusion. disappointment. I wanted to disappear. She didn't yell. She didn't say anything. She just left the table by the door and walked out. Quietly, like something had just died. That night was the worst. Daniel stayed in the garage. I stayed in bed, curled into myself, feeling like a child. I kept touching my stomach, thinking, how the hell did I end up here? The next day we didn't speak. 2 days later, Daniel packed a bag and left. No big goodbye. No speech. He just said, I'll be at the apartment. We'll figure out the rest. Then he was gone. Kelly didn't call. She told our mom. Which meant I got a 2-minute voicemail that started with, you have to think about the child, Cassandra, and ended with something about shame and morality. I deleted it halfway through. I told Jonah. His response was soft. Careful. But the truth was there. If you're not sure it's mine, then maybe it's not my place to stay involved. We haven't spoken since. I saw Daniel last week. We met at a neutral spot, this quiet park near Barton Springs. No kids. Just us. I was showing. Barely. But enough for it to be real. He sat down next to me on a bench. We didn't look at each other for the first 10 minutes. Then he said, I'm getting a paternity test. If it's mine, I'll step up. I nodded. That was fair. Silence. Then he added, but we're done. I want you to know that. I nodded again. Couldn't blame him. I wanted to scream I didn't mean to ruin everything. But I did. And so did he. I'm 38. Starting over. Alone. The house is quiet. Too quiet. The kids don't ask why daddy moved out. Not yet. But I know it's coming. Sometimes I catch myself staring at the nursery corner in the guest room I'm trying to turn into something warm. Something hopeful. It still smells like dust and old paint. I don't know who this baby will look like. I don't know how I'll explain any of this one day. But I'll try. Because I have to. That being ignored can hollow a person out. That love without attention slowly dies. That cheating doesn't just break hearts. It breaks your identity. And that 2 wrongs don't make things right. They just leave more bodies behind. I loved Daniel once. Maybe part of me still does. But we killed each other by not trying when it mattered most. Still standing. Still figuring it out. Still pregnant. Still a mess. But somehow, still here. I don't know what happens next. But I do know I'll never beg to be seen again. If someone can't see me for who I am, I'll make damn sure I never disappear like that again.